Welcome to Drum Talk, and today we're going to talk about my process for making a drum cover. Now, this is inspired by Zax Drums, Z-A-X Drums, and Zach basically asked a question about what's my process, do I listen to the song in the car, and how do I approach it. Let me give you a picture. Last weekend, okay, the weekend after Easter, just in case you guys need a time reference, I made 5 drum covers last weekend. The 5 drum covers I made were We're an American Band, Happy Together, Do It Again by Steely Dan, Beat It by Michael Jackson, and there was one other drum cover I made. I can't remember what it was. But I ended up making 5 drum covers last weekend. Okay? And I think all of them are released except for Steely Dan right now by this point in time. But they could be out by now. Who knows? So you say, you're making 5 drum covers in a weekend. Why do you do it that way? Well, first off, YouTube today, and if you ever want to get up over 1,000 subscribers, means you got to get out there where people see you. And the more content you have, the quicker you're going to move your subscriber number up. For me, making drum covers is not a big deal. I like to basically, here's my approach, I like to basically go in, find drumless tracks, okay, if possible, play with a drumless track and not sweat it very long. I don't want to be there thinking about this over and over again. But what I want to do is I want to play it 5 to 10 times, tops, and really nail the track, record it with the camera, and then mix it quickly. And by the way, I don't spend a lot of time on mixing anything. I have a template I work from. I have a few tweak points that I tweak. Okay? A couple little sweetener tools I use, plugins. I get my mix. I open up iMovie. I'm doing everything in iMovie, guys. I drop my video in. And if I have 2 videos with 2 cameras, which I do shoot 2 cameras sometimes, I take those videos, drop them into iMovie, I put my main DSLR camera down, and then I drop the audio on the DSLR camera, lock it, sync it. Sometimes I'll do it with multiple takes, meaning I may have my camera a lot of times will shoot, if it's a 3-minute song, it'll actually shoot 3 takes of the song. So if I like the last 3 takes that I did, I'll make mixes for the last 3 takes and then listen to them while watching them on camera. Once I determined what the song's supposed to be, I knew I'd remember the other song. The other one was Jackson 5 ABC. Matter of fact, I couldn't pick a version of ABC that I liked, so what did I do? I put both versions up, right? And I asked you guys to judge it. So that's the 5 songs. The ABC was the last one. Anyhow, I didn't spend a long time on ABC, but to answer Zach's question, what's my process? Do I sit and listen to the music on the radio? Well, to be honest, I didn't listen to any of those songs. Do It Again, I think when I was setting up the camera, I put on Spotify and listened to it one time. One time. American Band, We're an American Band, I didn't listen to it. I played it from memory as a kid. I used to play it in a band years ago. Every once in a while when I got a cowbell on my kit, I'll go into boom, bop, doo doo bop that and doo bop, doo doo bop that, digga 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 bop bop, digga 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 bop bop. That's kind of something I've been playing for 40 years. So the cowbell inspires the American Band, and the rest of the tune is just a rock tune, just rock out. Jackson 5, believe it or not, when I was doing ABC this weekend, that one threw me because I threw it up and I was playing along when I was recording the drumless track off of YouTube. And the way I did that was I've got an output on this iPad and it sends it back to my board into Logic. So I basically pressed over here and it's sending it to my Logic. And because I'm not making an MP3 or anything, I'm just using the audio, sending it into Logic, recording it on one track, stereo, and that's it. So while I was playing along with ABC, I was sitting here goofing around with it while I was watching it. And all of a sudden I realized there's some funky bars in this thing. So what happened with ABC was I pulled up YouTube and I pulled up the cover of ABC on somebody. And the guy had a drum chart for the song. I was like, wow, he's got a drum chart to this thing. So I downloaded the chart and printed it, and then I brought the chart out here and I read it. And ABC was done in less than 6 takes. That was 6 takes actually. So the camera ran twice. I ran the camera twice. And basically how I work is I'll sit here and I'll open up my iPad and I'll go in here to a program called LP Touch, and it's got my Logic transport in here. And once I've got the camera set on me, okay, then, and I've got it set up in Logic, and I've got the track in there, and I have it all figured out, I just hit play and record, and clicks off the beginning, and off we go. And with ABC, it was basically, I had a chart here, and I was reading the chart. And it was a reading exercise. It was great. It was wonderful. And the second take, which was the second time I played the song, really, for real, was one of the takes. And the last time I played the song was the other take. And I couldn't decide which one I liked better. The last take was more like the chart, read like the chart, because I got better at not putting the fills in and adding me. The second one was more of me on it. But I didn't sweat it, is what I'm saying. I didn't sweat it. It was less than a half hour. Less than a half hour I had that drum cover done. That's how I banged out 5. Let's Do It Again was sit down. I think I played it 3 times maybe. That was it. Not even 3 times. Happy Together. I used to play that in a band with my wife, and I've listened to the song a billion times. So I had an idea what I wanted to do. It's funny, after I listened to it and I watched it a few times after it's been out, and you guys have been really kind on that song. You said some really nice things about the mix and everything else, and my approach to the song, musical approach to the song. But anyhow, Happy Together, there was this cool kind of nanny go 6/8 pattern that he did at the end. I forgot to do that. But you guys liked it, so it didn't really matter, did it? So what I'm saying is, when I make a drum cover, I try to make it as little complicated as I can possibly get away with. Happy Together, I used 2 cameras. I pulled out my other cheap GoPro knockoff, which is garbage, and I pulled it out, and when I finally got the take, which was probably the 4th or 5th take, the GoPro knockoff shut itself off halfway through the take, so I couldn't even use it for the whole take. Drove me nuts. I worked around it though. If you watch that video, I did some camera effects where I was doing black and white to color. Every time I went into da 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 ba ba da ba ba da, we go into the chorus, I put the nice happy, the Happy Together thing, the happy color came on. So it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz, black and white to color. I don't know if any of you guys caught that, but that was my little video technique. Didn't take very much to do it either, by the way. It only took another couple minutes probably. All that to say, I don't sweat drum covers. I have fun with them. So I don't do a lot of prep. Now, when I do the jazz drum covers, a lot of times, on the little kit I've been doing, a lot of times I'll listen to it in the room while I'm setting up the mics and everything, and then I'll just play it. If it's got a chart, I'll read the chart. Those are fun to read charts. Most of the pop drum covers, I kind of know the songs. I rarely listen to music over and over again to prepare for the week before I do a drum cover. I usually pick stuff that I know. And that's why probably one of the worst drum covers I did was Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses, because I don't listen to Guns N' Roses. To be honest, I just don't. I remember it from the 90s. I never had to play it. I've been listening to some really good metal guys these days on YouTube, like Beats by Jay. Jay's a great metal drummer. He's played some Metallica and stuff. I've really kind of dug it. I'm going to have to listen to that stuff to play it, because you've got to get the certain hits. If you don't get the hits, it doesn't sound right. And that's what bugged me about my Guns N' Roses cover. It just didn't sound right because I didn't spend the time. And you could tell it. But most of the pop stuff from the 80s and 70s and 80s that I do, and 60s, I've been listening to this music so long, it's just in me. I've played it in bands. So I don't think about it. The jazz stuff, it's reading charts. Or it's listening to it and improvising. Drumless tracks allows me to put my style on it, which is what I love to do. So my approach to drum covers is actually get as many out as possible each weekend is what I try to do. And I don't sweat things. That Men at Work cover I did a couple weeks ago, didn't sweat it. You know what took the longest on that cover? Was setting up mics in that room. When I work off of this drum kit, it's pretty much set up. But if you notice, I'm constantly changing stuff around. Change cymbals, change snare drums, add extra toms. So the biggest thing is setting up the room and setting up the mics to make it work. So anyhow, I don't know if that's going to be helpful to some of you guys, but that's my approach to making a drum cover. I don't sweat the small stuff. Now, why can I get away with that? It's because I've been playing 40-something years. It's the only reason why. And the music I pick is stuff I kind of know. All the Chicago music I've done, I kind of know. I didn't sweat any of that stuff. Just sat there and played it. So that's my approach. I think I can do a drum cover from recording to mix in less than 2 hours. So in summary, trying to summarize all what this whole little drum talk's about. My goal in doing drum covers is to do them quick. I'm going to reference Beats by Jay one more time. He's gotten into doing these things he calls quickies. If you watch some of Beats, if you watch some of Jay's videos, he's been pretty elaborate with the smoke and the lighting. And I mean, a good metal drummer is going to have all that kind of good stuff. I mean, that's kind of that's part of the show, you know. That's the rock show thing. And I respect all the guys that do the great lighting and stuff. I love the Lighting a Little Drummer channel. I mean, Jeremy and Nate, those guys do some great, they have some great lighting in their videos. I appreciate that stuff. But for me, I take the quickie approach. Jay's new thing is to do these quickies. So most of my drum covers, I've kind of decided that quickie's better. Now, if I can do quickie with better lighting, and I'm going to work on my lighting, I'm going to keep working on that. That's going to be my goal, is to get better lighting and make the lighting, the drum kit, better. But as far as the actual approach to how I do a drum cover, it's always going to be to do it quickly. I am not about exact, and I've made that pretty clear to everybody in the last couple weeks. But where I need to, I will be exact. I'm always going to try to make a drum cover that is going to speak to the voice of the drummer that was on the song. So if I'm doing Carter Beauford, I'm going to try to emulate what I remember about the best Carter Beauford. That got a lot of reaction when I did that one. Crash. Did I do Crash? I forget which one I did. Anyhow, I did Dave Matthews a while back, and I got a lot of great feedback from that one. But that was just me rocking out, trying to beat Carter, you know. But it's my interpretation of the things about Carter's playing that I love. The things I love about Danny Seraphin's playing, the things I love about Stuart Copeland's playing, the things I love about Hal Blaine's playing, the things I love about Steve Gadd's playing. I mean, those things you want to tip your hat to in these drum covers, and I always try to do that. But you still have to have fun with it. And if I can't learn songs quickly, then I'm not going to be playing gigs and doing things I do. So I've learned, I have a method to learning songs quickly, and I don't spend a lot of time listening to music, to be honest, to have to learn stuff. I can listen to a song 2 or 3 times and learn it. If it's something more complicated, I can chart it out and learn it. When I work in churches, I do that all the time. I'll chart it out, get it, and I have that song down quickly. So then when we're playing it in rehearsal, I usually know the song better than most of the people on the bandstand. And that's always my goal, is to get the music, get to know it internalized as quick as possible. There is certain music I have to spend time in. And we all have those songs that we have to spend more time on. But for the most part, I try to really knock out some quickies, and drum covers are to be fun. Now, the last thing, let me go back to what I started with a little bit. I believe to grow this channel, the way I'm growing this channel, has taken the fact I put a lot of videos out each week. YouTube doesn't really push your content out forward unless you do 4 or 5 videos a week. So they've kind of pushed me. If I want to get my subscriber base over 1,000, then I'm going to have to do that, at least in the short term. But for me, it's not the video production that's the fun. It's about making the music. So it's always going to be about the music in my drum covers. And if the video thing gets, if you see some kind of cool video effects, it's usually something I learned inside the programs I'm working to make those video effects work. I've learned about filters, I've learned about the Ken Burns effect, and these are all little things that actually make my videos a little bit more interesting than the camera just pointing one thing and does no movement. Ken Burns effect is actually a great effect that's in iMovie that you can basically cut it 3 or 4 places and basically take a section and tell it to go zoom into a point, and then the next section you have it zoom out. And you don't even realize that there's movement going on, but it's there. And that kind of makes the feel that the video's got something a little more on it. So using those effects I'm going to learn, but I'm not going to sweat having 5, 7 cameras. One more thing I want to say about my drum covers. Out of all the drum covers I've done, I can name 2 drum covers where I've used a piece of another take and spliced it to the first take. Almost all my drum covers are me playing complete. Okay? One of them was one of my jazz ones that I just hated what I did at the beginning, but I loved what I did at the end, and I was reading. And you can even hear it because I actually mixed it slightly different too. It bugs me when I listen to it. It's one of my early jazz brush playing videos. And the other one was One of These Nights by the Eagles, which most of you can't see because you're not supposed to be able to see it anyhow. But the front end of One of These Nights, I tried some different goofy things, and it didn't sound as good as boom, 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 just playing the tom thing. So I had done the tom thing once the proper way, and I put that up on the front, which I could have done in each one of those versions, but I didn't. So those are the 2 that I really cheated on. I consider it cheating if you're cutting yourself up and basically taking from the 5th take and the 4th take. Now, maybe it's not cheating to you guys that do it, okay? But for me, I try to play the song down in 1 take and use the take I choose. So you'll get gaffes. You've seen gaffes in my videos. I drop a stick and I keep going, but I like that take better, so I keep it. So that's my goal. My goal is to do it in 1 take. And so that's why, another reason why I don't do a lot of fancy camera edits. Because I know what you can do with a camera edit. If you can go fade to black and then pop back up, you can switch takes if you want to. I'm not saying you're doing it, but I'm saying you can do it if you want to. I try not to do that. That's one of my goals. I try to play the song in 1 take. And I have now over 200 videos and probably 125 covers. And if I've only done it on 2, that's not too bad, I guess. You know what I mean? It's really not that bad at all. Anyhow, thanks for watching this edition of Drum Talk. This came out of one of my Ask Earl Anythings. Zax Drums, you were the inspiration for this one. Leave your comments. Leave your ideas of how to do a drum cover. Alright? I don't want to debate about stylized or exact. I really don't care. I've done that enough times. You guys have gotten me with that one. Okay? If you want to do exact, you do exact. You want to do stylized, you do stylized. I don't care. I tip my hat to any guy that can do it exact, and I tip my hat at some of these guys that do great stylized covers. The only thing I say is, why do we do this? And it always comes back to this for me. I do this because I want to have fun. And if I'm not having fun, why am I doing it? It's not because I'm making $1 million on YouTube, because I'm not. None of us are making $1 million on YouTube that I can tell. Not unless you're Drumeo, you know. Or a couple of guys that started 5-10 years ago that have got a nice following. But I didn't get on that gravy train. So I'm not on the gravy train. And even when I get over 1,000 subs, you know, maybe I'll get my $50 that Google owes me from all the other videos at some point. Because I went in my Google account and figured out that, you know, guess what? They actually owe me $50, but they haven't paid me yet. So that's pretty interesting, isn't it? Anyhow, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'm sure we'll be talking again soon. Bye.